From scenic Seaside, California, it's the USL Championship tonight, presented by California Highway Patrol. Monterey Bay out of the Western Conference, welcoming the last unbeaten team in the league, Louisville City, out of the East. Sean St. Jacques, Eric Dobransky, your entire crew, happy to have you with us. Coach, we look at the Western Conference standings. Jordan Stewart and Monterey Bay pushing towards the top of the standings.
Yeah, what a start to the season for Jordan Stewart and his side. Limited space between teams here in the Western Conference, which puts points at a premium. And week to week, you could reshape where you sit and what pressure you're applying on your opponents.
It's going to be interesting to see how that four-way tie for second plays out throughout the next couple of weeks. And, well, for Monterey Bay, they've relied heavily on Elijah Paul, and so far he's delivered the goals.
Yeah, showcases variety and sharpness in the box. He is consistently punishing opponents with his tenacity and his efficiency. And for a team that is starving for sustainability in the attack, it can be Paul's clinical nature that guides that breakthrough.
Let's look at the Eastern Conference standings. Louisville, again, the only team in the league without a defeat so far this season, but still work to do to get to the top of the table.
Yeah, each of these conferences are shaping up very differently. There are teams in the East that are beginning to separate themselves, with Lou City being one of those. Now it's about converting draws into all 3 points to put pressure on a flying Charleston Battery.
And for Louisville, after they dropped points at championship, they'll hope that that changes tonight with the mighty men in purple in town in Seaside tonight. Lou City trying to keep their unbeaten stretch to begin this season intact. Something's got to give in Cali tonight. Kickoff is next.
As Montage Health celebrates its 90th anniversary, we're taking a look at the past, recognizing how we started and where we are heading. Over the decades, we have grown from a hospital to an entire healthcare system. Today, Montage Health remains an independent, locally owned, nonprofit organization. We are proud to offer healthcare services for every chapter of life. At Montage Health, our history of excellence is rooted in a commitment to our community. That commitment lives on today and for the next 90 years and beyond.
At Taylor Farms, our goal is to create healthier lives by creating healthy, fresh foods. A stronger community is a win for everyone.
That's why each time the Monterey Bay Football Club scores a goal, Taylor Farms will donate $500 to a local nonprofit. Healthy goals, healthy lives, a more perfect union.
We are Union!
Welcome back to Seaside, everybody. Sean St. Jacques, the coach, Eric Dobransky, our entire crew, happy to have you with us. Monterey Bay playing host to Louisville, trying to beat Lou City at home for the first time in the club's history. Let's dive into the starting lineups. Jordan Stewart and the Union hoping to bounce back after a bit of an up and down stretch.
And how do they navigate the ebbs and flows of this match, playing out of Lou City's pressure, and then present that multi-dimensional threat that they have throughout the beginning of the season? Malongo will be a player to watch in that wide area, his link-up play with Elijah Paul. Then the playmaking ability of this back line, their bravery on the ball, locating those pockets of space for Fonguk and Moby Fair to exploit.
Couple of notes on the Louisville lineup. Damian Loss was not originally supposed to start. Fondez picks up an injury in the warm-up. Also, Philip Goodrum's a late scratch as well off the bench.
Yeah, unfortunately dealing with injuries, late changes, but still feature a high-quality and balanced group. Lambert, Taylor Davila will look to set that temperature, the tempo of this match. Jansen Wilson will lead the front line, both in the attack, but also how they spearhead that press and make Lou City so frustrating to play against.
You feel for Danny Fondes, would have been his first start in more than a year. However, we still have two of the best goalkeepers in the entirety of the USL Championship going head-to-head.
I think so much of the discussions when you talk about goalkeeping is how they keep you in games, but as you look at these two goalkeepers, obviously Campuzano has been on Save of the Week in a number of weeks here in the USL Championship, and Damian Loss. These are two goalkeepers that not only keep you in games, but win you games. And that's something that both these sides and both these coaches value at a high degree.
It's going to be a tall order for the strikers out there tonight to try to get past two of the best shot stoppers that the USL Championship has to offer. Well, it's the fourth all-time meeting between Monterey Bay and Louisville. Last time they got together, July 27th of last year, Louisville ran away with it at home, a 4-1 win over the Seasiders. The last time Louisville were here, March 18th, 2023, Brian Ownby scored the winning goal and then got sent off. 20 minutes after that, Lou City got a 1-0 win in Seaside. Our head official in red is Alyssa Nichols. And of course, Lou City will be in those vintage purples from head to toe. And the Seasiders of Monterey Bay are in those gorgeous light blues. It will be Louisville kicking us off. They'll be going from right to left in front of a good crowd here at Cardinale Stadium in Seaside, California. We're off and running. Out west, a big game in the USL Championship tonight, impacting both the East and the Western Conference standings. Monterey Bay trying to push back towards the top spot in the Western Conference. Louisville trying to do the same in the East and trying to keep their 9-game unbeaten run in the league intact at the start of this 2025 campaign in the USL Championship. Early touch there for Nico Campuzano inside of his own 18, and Monterey Bay are in possession inside of the first 30 seconds. Some pressure from Ray Serrano on this near side, forces the pass up ahead. Kyle Adams is there defensively for Louisville. And a coming together will give Lou City a free kick just to the right of the halfway line.
I think first impressions are going to come to define this match and how the temperature is set, where the pace and at what tempo it's played at. Just from the sense of two teams that are coming off different results. Obviously, Lou City having that advantage against Hartford, conceding that late goal to only pick up a point. And then Monterey Bay, with their terrific start to the season, have sputtered out a bit here in the attacking box. And that 2-0 loss at Phoenix Rising, and Jordan Stewart felt like there was more to give to that match.
It's now 5 games without a win for Jordan Stewart and Monterey Bay. They've only scored twice during that time, and they've been held scoreless 3 times over that 5-game period. After, like you said, Coach, they started out extremely well. Something with injuries, of course, in that as well. And Jordan Stewart acknowledged that earlier this week, but they expect to still bounce back from it tonight. Louisville on the attack here, trying to find Ray Serrano on this near side. It's a goal kick for the Union.
And both these teams, they're not able to get away from the injury bug. As we see Danny Cruz, they're both experiencing some shifts. They're going to have to tweak their lineup, some adaptability that they're having to experience because of the injuries. And that's what teams are having to navigate here. I think what the interesting aspect as well is when you get into that 10th, 11th match, what are teams doing against you? What are the themes, the trends, the patterns that teams are attacking? Where are they guiding you? What spaces are they guarding? Both on the ball and off the ball, what are they doing to you specifically? And when you have these East versus West matchups, they're unique. So you're coming in to see a team that you only see once a year.
You saw Danny Cruz there a moment ago. Of course, Danny Cruz and Jordan Stewart meeting as coaches tonight. They've met on the playing field before as players. In fact, 3 times during their professional playing careers. Once in the USL Championship, believe it or not, and then, of course, twice in MLS. Danny Cruz, of course, started his playing career with UNLV in college and played for the Houston Dynamo, DC, Philadelphia, Bodo Glimt. Of course, that's been a name on a lot of people that follow the European games lips as of late. And then, of course, Danny Cruz finished up with Real Monarchs in 2017. Jordan Stewart played for Leicester City for a few years, 99 to 2005, then Watford, Sheffield United, Notts County, and others. Played with Phoenix, with Amadou Dia in 2017, and before that, 3 seasons in MLS with the San Jose Earthquakes, 2013 to 2016. So there's plenty of connections between that man, Jordan Stewart, and Lou City tonight.
A lot of familiarity, a lot of history, as you've just rattled off, and 2 teams and 2 coaches that play with a clear identity.
Loss, diving header, well outside the penalty area, keeps Lou City on it. You mentioned it earlier, Coach, both teams coming off of disappointing results. Jordan Stewart said the Phoenix defeat was one of the low points of the season so far, 2-0 last time out on May 17th, and then Louisville seemingly had it all in control at Hartford. They were a goal up, but Danny Cruz said with about 25 minutes to go, he felt the momentum start to shift away from them. Hartford did go down to 10 late on, but a Kyle Edwards late equalizer helped Hartford salvage an unlikely point.
Yeah, frustrating result for a team that remains unbeaten.
Yeah,
unblemished in the loss column. And it's a bit cliche to say, but you always enjoy the area of learning when you haven't lost points. Obviously, not picking up a full 3 points, it affects you. But for a Lou City side, I mean, they are as ambitious comes, and as thorough and as detailed and as demanding of themselves individually and collectively. So we're going to look at a result like that and be very disappointed with the overall performance, and to your point, going a player up with the red card to Hartford. And for Monterey Bay, 2 games in a row that they've conceded second half goals that have affected results.
Mayele Malongo plays it square, and the shot is fizzed over the top by the arriving Revelar.
And that's the danger that Malongo presents, that ability to get around the corner, and the timing in which he plays this ball and the attention that he commands gives that space to Revelar to access, and just unable to wrap this ball around Damian Loss. But it goes back to the point where we made with the goalkeeper comparison. Sometimes that gets into attackers' heads, the ability to have to hit something special to beat 2 goalkeepers of the caliber of Campuzano and Damian Loss.
Lou City throw on the far side. And Davila just able to scrape it towards the far sideline. It's clipped back onto this near side. The aforementioned Amadou Dia picks up the pieces for Louisville. And then continued his run. Davila tried to dink it in behind. Joel Garcia Jr., though, is there defensively. And the Seasiders have a throw. Well, for Louisville, it's back-to-back draws, and with the battery surging at the moment, Lou City trying to keep pace, really. At the top of the table, Loudon still in the mix as well. Brian Martin's boys fighting for top spot as well in the USL Championship. And I will say, if Louisville does drop points here tonight, that would really open up the gap for the battery towards the top of the Eastern Conference here. And just a draw, and the battery would have a 4-point cushion with the same number of games played.
And it's kind of that storyline of where those draws end up placing you, because for the Charleston Battery, have the 2 losses but have picked up wins.
Adrian Perez tried to feed it into the 6. It ricochets out. It's a Louisville corner on the near side.
This is an area that Lou City continues to be dangerous. Their ability to mix in short corners with those direct corners, their runs, their commitment to putting chaos and traffic in the runs themselves.
And from the corner, there were multiple purple shirts flying at it. No one got definitive contact, and Monterey Bay clears it back across the halfway line. There's Taylor Davila, who's been so good since arriving at Louisville last season. Of course, was an all-first teamer with RGV before the Toros, unfortunately, were defunct. And then he's just come into Danny Cruz's outfit, and he's been one of the best chance creators. He's been one of the best midfielders, period. One of the most influential in the entire league. There could be a chance for Louisville down this far side. They cut in field, little reverse ball, looking for Serrano, who was entering the box. Monterey Bay try to clear this up, and they nearly had a short pass out there. Dia was certainly putting on the pressure. Louisville keep on coming. Lovely touch by Serrano. And then it's played out to the far side and then clipped back across behind Serrano, headed out for a corner. There's the likes of Perez and Jansen Wilson trying to make it happen in the penalty area.
And Jansen Wilson does a terrific job of reestablishing himself after drifting offside. Just showcasing the pressure and the tenacity that Lou City play with. They just never let you get comfortable playing out of the back and playing through the thirds.
Serrano leads the team with 3 goals in the league this season, takes the corner short, and then gets it back, delivers it into the middle, and was headed actually towards Kyle Adams. Monterey Bay get it clear for the moment, only as far as Davila. He looks to engineer some space on the far side, and Lou City will do it again, another corner.
And again, Monterey Bay asking for an offside, but they were unable to clear their lines on that short corner. Now having to deal with this in-swinger.
Right towards the near post. Toach tried to flick it on. Bit awkward on the clearance there in the middle of the penalty area by Moby Fair. Louisville win the ball back. No foul, says the referee. Amadou Dia's ball in was delicious, but what a save by Nico Campuzano, as advertised for Monterey Bay.
We almost talk about his saves of the week jokingly just because he continues to stack them. But this is why. I mean, the delivery is picture perfect. The run, the timing is spot on. But Campuzano has just made a living making those terrific saves.
Campuzano again punches the Serrano delivery out. It's a Louisville throw. He might have another save of the week candidate as he thwarts Arturo Ordonez. He's just top notch.
And those saves, they're so difficult because you're regenerating your positioning. You're putting yourself in a situation where you're trying to make the unpredictable predictable.
Ooh, Serrano, little flick, took a deflection, but you guessed it, Campuzano's on it. Well, throughout its season, in any league, you don't always get to do a goalkeeping comparison. If there's any game to do that, it's this one. As we look at tonight's injury reports brought to you by ROL&M. Well, for Monterey Bay, the good news is that Soyberg and Yalazzi not far away from getting back into it. But again, Goodrum, Fondez, late scratches. We'll have to wait and see on updates from the Louisville City side of things there. Of course, Goodrum scored Louisville's goal at Hartford last week in the 39th minute and has always been a big-time goal threat every stop he's been in the USL Championship. That's a big miss for Louisville potentially, at least for the time being.
It is, and I think that's where they're looking for this front line to continue to gel, continue to find that fluidity. They want to go back to the variety that they continue to punish teams with, and Philip Goodrum being a big miss, but Jansen Wilson fully capable of stretching a team. Ray Serrano, we've showcased his skill set's characteristics.
Ordonez's clearance wasn't exactly definitive. Elijah Paul had a chance to get it away from Toch. It's looped back into the penalty area, but Loss will see it go out of play. Well, that man's another one to look out for. Wes Fanguk, who's really made a big impact in the Monterey Bay midfield since being brought in. And a lot of that success sometimes goes under the radar with Fanguk because of the flashy play of Paul, Rebelar, Malongo, and others. But Fanguk and Moby Fair in the middle of the park have really been big positives for the Seasiders so far. This is going to be brought back for a Louisville free kick.
And you can see it when you watch Monterey Bay. When you see heavy involvement from Fanguk, they're usually the ones setting the pace. And they're the ones finding that next layer. And in a match like this, you're probably not going to see early involvement just because of the pressure that you absorb from Lou City. But once you start to find your way in and around it, you could start to get him in those second actions and on the ball faced up and influencing the play the way that we've seen him thus far. And I think that's got to be something that for Jordan Stewart and his side within real time in the flow of this match, how do you get him on the ball in the attacking half, but also the ability to use him as an outlet to play through this pressure.
Serrano forcing Alex Lara back. And Jansen Wilson again trying to make it difficult on Monterey Bay, playing out of the back, and they do give it up here. Perez ends up getting thwarted. Still a chance to pick up the pieces here. Davila, little 1-2 as he gets to the edge of the box, and he's thwarted. Monterey Bay still trying to work their way out. It's going to be a foul and a free kick.
And that's one of the more underrated aspects of Lou City, is the ability to bait you into low percentage passes once you've broken that first line. They apply that pressure, and then they do such a good job of recognizing moments where they can just drop off a little bit and absorb, but also forcing Nico Gordon into that pass that turns into a possession turnover for Monterey Bay, and the ability to transition for Lou City. So it's that quality in making those decisions for Lou City that make them so dangerous off the ball.
Lambert did so well to win the ball back there for Louisville, but the attack fizzles out on the far side. Although Lambert nearly won it back a second time. Louisville really trying to put the pressure on here. And again, the whistle. He's able to bring a little bit of aid to Monterey Bay. We all know the quality that Kevin Lambert brings to the table, and since he's come back to, well, he's come to Louisville and come back more often to the USL Championship, of course, after his brief stay in MLS, he continues to bring that quality to a quality side.
Yeah, just a dominating figure there in midfield. Such a complement of playmaking and defensive responsibilities.
Adrian Perez was fouled. Referee saw if there was any advantage. There was not. Brought back for another Louisville set piece. And this is also where Lou City can be very, very dangerous. Serrano and Davila, two very good set piece takers for Danny Cruz's men. It will be Serrano's delivery. It's headed to the outskirts. It's going to be Amadou Dia. Hit it into Lambert, and then it was Wilson trying to send it through his sea of legs, and well, Campuzano again gets down to his left.
As dangerous as Lou City are on those restarts, those free kicks, it is typically that second and third wave that becomes the one that asks so many dangerous questions.
Wilson again. Past one challenge, he follows up, Campuzano clears. Last few minutes, it has been one-way traffic. Louisville really putting the Union under pressure here. Again, two other games going on at the moment. Orange County 2-0 up on the champs, Colorado Springs, and a really fast start for Dennis Sanchez in New Mexico. 20 minutes in at Oakland, and New Mexico United are 2-0 up. So keep an eye on those games as the night continues. And Amadou Dia, did he get there first? Yes, he did, says Alyssa Nichols. And Alex Lara will see yellow for being a bit tardy on the challenge.
Tough to pick up an early yellow, put in a position where you almost have to make that play. The pass doesn't do him any favors. Lacked a little bit of pop.
Number 4, Alex Lara. Brought to you by
Saw player coming in to win it, and now you have a defending player on a yellow card and playing a team that feasts over turnovers and is typically going to put you in some tough decisions. So it's going to have to be measured from here on out.
Again, it's Davila and Serrano. Davila with an in-swinger. Toch with the header back towards Ordonez, and then miscommunication with the Monterey Bay back line, and Carlos Guzman, who could have left it for Campuzano, touches it out for a Louisville corner instead.
Yeah, miscue. Nobody had communicated where Lou City were in that second wave, and could have been a bit more patient there, and Campuzano could have come off his line, picked this up. Now they got to deal with this in-swinger.
Davila tries again. It's flicked on. It's flicked in. Monterey Bay made to pay for that miscue at the back. It was Toch and Adams in the vicinity, and Toch has appeared to tuck in his shirt. You know what that means. He's on the score sheet, and Louisville lead in Seaside.
And this is what Lou City do. They punish you for miscues and mistakes. No need to give up the corner for Monterey Bay initially, but Lou City doesn't care. They're going to take full advantage of the free kick. They're going to take full advantage of the corner. And that front post delivery presents all sorts of issues for opponents. When you have that traffic, when you have that chaos in and around a goalkeeper, you just need the slightest of touches. What a terrific start for Danny Cruz and his side.
Nothing less than Louisville deserved. The 33-year-old Sean Toch with his first league goal of the season after he scored 7 in 34 appearances last year. And as we've come to know over many years now with Louisville, particularly under Danny Cruz, you give them an inch, they're very likely to take a mile. That's exactly what they did there.
Yeah, it's always so difficult to play from behind against Danny Cruz's side. But we've come to know this league as a 2-goal league. You almost need to find that insurance goal to put a game, and you can't even put a game away at 2 goals. You almost have to continue to apply that pressure, but knowing that a 1-0 advantage is typically not going to help you see out a match, especially against an electric side like Monterey Bay.
Now, Louisville have been relentless at the start of this game. They're looking for more. On this far side, Sammy Gadiri able to clean things up for Monterey Bay. But again, Louisville put the pressure on, although this time the whistle will go against Toch. And it is going to be a free kick for the Seasiders, in need of a bit of a reprieve at the moment. Will be fair. Plays it square. A little loose touch by Garcia, and puts Monterey Bay in a tight spot on this near side. Get it across the halfway line. It's coming together there. That's a foul. It's a free kick. And there is going to be a yellow card at the end of that. Looked like that was towards Lambert.
It is Lambert that picks up not only the foul, but the yellow card. So another player, just like for Monterey Bay, Alex Lara, the influence off the ball is almost as important as the influence on the ball, and those timely tackles, those interventions, you're gonna have to play that delicate balance from here on out. Still make sure that they're having that high impact that they're used to having defensively.
We're getting towards 10 minutes plus where Monterey Bay have not been able to move it out of their own end here. Gotta give credit to Louisville, just pinning them back, and the press has just been relentless so far. And anytime even they get it to this point, it's very quickly swept up by that Lou City back line.
Yeah, no involvement from Elijah Paul. Malongo has had one opportunity to drive at the byline, but besides that, to your point, they have not been able to access the final third. And this is a team that does possess that multifaceted dimension, that ability to go big like this and stretch a team and stretch an opponent, but also build through the thirds. So it just speaks to where Lou City is clicking defensively.
That was a misplaced pass by Dia. Malongo flips it towards the back stick. It is headed centrally. Ordonez able to move it along. Monterey Bay with an overhead kick back into the middle towards Elijah Paul. Again, Louisville get it clear. And Monterey Bay maybe flip the script here. Touchdown this far sideline. Toch is there. And then it goes towards that far sideline approaching the box, and it's going to go out for a Louisville throw.
And I know no clear-cut opportunity came from that delivery, but that is an example of how committed and aggressive that Monterey Bay can be and will be throughout this match. They have not yet produced any sustainable threat just yet, but when they get the opportunity, they flood the box. They collectively climb the field. They are committed to getting in and around those spaces where goals are scored. They will continue to be difficult to deal with as soon as they break into that final third, and Lou City are gonna have to continue to be switched on, locked in, detailed.
Good run down this far sideline. Davila lays it off. Manny Perez into the middle, nearly found Serrano. Dia not able to control it. Lambert follows up. Adams very high up, trying to win it back for Louisville. And there will be a Monterey Bay throw.
I think what you've seen early from both these teams, not even just in this match, just through the season in general, is how unfazed they are, how mature and intelligent both these sides are with how they manage and navigate a match. They do not let goals change their personalities. They do not let goals change their identity, and that is a credit to the messaging from the players on the field, from the coaches. These are two teams that are clear about what their objectives are per match through the season, and that's why you have them sitting where they are in each of their respective standings. Their ability to problem solve, collaborate, have the right conversations, and not live and dwell in past moments, whether you're the team that scored the goal or you're the team that conceded.
Campuzano clears it through the spine of Louisville, and it's picked back up by Ordonez for Dia. Serrano. Davila. He's covered a lot of ground already in this first half. Dia could not get it back from Lambert. Ordonez, putting a little bit on Elijah Paul there. Free kick, Monterey Bay.
And very well done by Elijah Paul there. When you are not seeing rhythm and you're not seeing fluidity on the ball, your ability to create free kicks and restarts for your team becomes so important, because Ordonez doesn't have to go through the back of Elijah Paul. He just halts his run, stands his ground. That's going to be an area that for Monterey Bay, when you are just not able to play through the midfield and get that group going, can you start to generate some free kicks, some restarts that allow your team to build on momentum? See Danny Cruz on the sideline, very pleased with his team defensively, and a team that has such high expectations of what they do and produce per moment, not even per match. They want to stack those moments. They want to develop and continue to become the best versions of themselves.
There was a dispute here as to where Louisville were supposed to take the throw-in from. Amadou Dia was literally told step by step where to back up. Danny Cruz wasn't happy about it. And eventually Louisville do get the ball back in, and they get it into the penalty area as well. And Ray Serrano wins Louisville a corner as we approach the half-an-hour mark in Seaside.
Bagel corner, corner kick.
More work for Campuzano and the rest of Jordan Stewart's defense here. And of course, Louisville, for those just joining us, scored from the other corner to take the lead. They take this one short for Davila. Serrano back to Taylor Davila. He's going to cross it towards the far edge of the 6. Monterey Bay will just help it along. Lou City throw. One was taken very quickly. Another chance to go to the byline, cross is blocked. And Louisville will do it again. Manny Perez trying to dig out a bit of service. And there's your goal scorer for Louisville. Still has his shirt tucked in, Sean Toch. And he puts in a pretty good throw as well. One that Monterey Bay don't exactly deal with cleanly, but they do concede another corner.
Bagel corner, corner kick.
Davila, who got the assist from this exact same spot, picking out Toch, will try again. And again, they go to that near post. He had a chance to be flicked on. Lambert keeps it alive for Louisville. And Amadou Dia forced to reset back to Damian Loss. Offside flag goes up against Elijah Paul.
And the question for Monterey Bay and Jordan Stewart's side is, what starts to swing this momentum? What starts to allow this group to build into this match? Obviously, you have to break that first line of pressure, but you say that, but Lou City is their ability to repress and regenerate those moments. It just flusters opponents. You just are not able to play in that same rhythm, in that same tempo that you want to play. You've got to limit your touches, and sometimes you rush plays and you force things that aren't there. That's what Lou City forced you to do.
Oh, it's gonna fall in behind here. Adrian Perez, Campuzano. He's just a brick wall from Monterey Bay. He comes up with another big save. Remember, he came in leading the league with 39 saves. He's made a couple of big ones already.
And that's the second one of this half. And I know this scoreline sits at 1-0 off that goal off the corner, but my goodness, Campuzano is doing everything to keep this game within reach for Monterey Bay.
Louisville again on the prowl. On this far side, we'll get a throw in. Amigo Campuzano hasn't exactly been standing on his head in this first half, but the timing on these quality saves cannot go unnoticed.
You make such a terrific point. Yes, he's not dealing with the quantity, but he is dealing with some quality and some loud looks goal.
Another cross into the middle here. Toch's ball is headed out only as far as Dia, who doesn't have a great touch on that. And Monterey Bay will get a throw in because of it. Ends up being a little bit of a missed opportunity for Louisville there. But they keep on pressing. Dia wins the ball back for a moment. Paul has to come all the way back. They try to help Monterey Bay under the pressure here. Campuzano will clear it after Lara's feed. Header by Ordonez. Davila. Lambert flicks it along. Jansen Wilson threads the needle, and it's Taylor Davila! Oh my goodness! Campuzano! He's incredible! Makes another big save for the Seasiders.
Just the patience from Taylor Davila, picks his spot.
Bagel corner.
But what
corner
a
kick.
save again by Campuzano.
Louisville corner taken short. Serrano clips it into the middle. Lambert's header back across. Monterey Bay trying everything they can to get this clear. Perez picks up the pieces. Sean Toch with two on him. He's able to dig out the cross just over the head of Serrano. Manny Perez picks it back up. Another feed blocked high into the air. Malongo can't definitively clear it. Adams to Dia. Louisville just keep on coming. Dia's ball over the top. Ordonez will be shielded away from it. And again, Monterey Bay survive.
And going back to that recent save by Campuzano, the common theme, the common thought from people when it comes to goalkeeping is, individuals when it comes to goalkeeping, is that near post should be a given for goalkeepers. But when you have the time to pick your spot like Taylor Davila just had, it does make it difficult for a goalkeeper, because now you're having to find that balance between taking away the far post and being balanced to make that reactionary save near post. So you're giving the attacking player, they have those options, and to still be able to recover and make that near post save, it is a lot more difficult than it looks and than it is.
Monterey Bay up the other end. Just a little tug down there. It's clipped back across. Adams heading it clear, and then it's volleyed into the seats for a goal kick. Now, Moby Fair, who of course has scored against Louisville before, not able to hit the target this time.
And you got to believe the positive for Monterey Bay right now is every time that they do go down the field and get into the attacking third, they have got touches in the attacking box, in the 18-yard box. So they have been able, it hasn't equaled a dangerous chance on Damian Loss, but they have been able to flood the box. They've been able to get touches in those dangerous areas. Now it's about that final decision, that final action. And then on top of that, stacking in the sustainability portion of it. Now, how can you do that more often? How can you start regaining your footing, creating that quantity that you're looking for, which then can blend itself into the quality that you need to find the breakthrough?
Now Monterey Bay trying to give Louisville a bit of heat to worry about in their own end. Ordonez. For Jansen Wilson. Louisville throw. Well, his team's not ahead, but Nico Campuzano might still be the man of the half so far. Keeping Monterey Bay in with a chance here. Dia from the throw, played it square. Cleared out only as far as Adams, who's got a lovely left boot. He clips it back into the penalty area, and you guessed it, Campuzano is all over it. With that, we can tell you to enter the Brinks Tires Tailgate Kit Sweepstakes for a chance to win a prize pack worth up to $3,000. Scan the QR code on the screen to enter today. Wouldn't be surprised, particularly in Seaside, if there's already been a few barbecues. The grills, I'm sure, are already out. But it's been Louisville who've been grilling Monterey Bay and certainly testing them throughout this first half, and they're gonna get another corner after Diaz's cross was cleared out by Nico Gordon.
Just see this relentless tempo from Lou City, the urgency and the desperation to get a second goal.
Corner kick.
Because you can carry all that momentum, you could carry all that pace of this match. But when you're only that 1-0 lead, still always dangerous from the opponent.
Davila. Ray Serrano blocked and cleared away. Dia resets. We're down to the final 5 minutes and change, plus added time left in the half. Dia. Was he brought down there? Yes. Alyssa Nichols kept her eye on it. Free kick for Louisville. She was just waiting to see where the ball was going to end up for a potential Lou City advantage that never came. For Monterey Bay, players like the man you just saw, Elijah Paul, and besides that early chance that you mentioned, Coach, Malongo and Revelar have done not much since that early few moments of the game, and again, a lot of that is because Louisville have just been relentless. But Nico Campuzano has kept Monterey Bay in it. Serrano into the middle, it's headed high into the air. Campuzano commits and collects.
And what makes it even more difficult for Monterey Bay is in those moments that they do elect to go long and they do extend that passing range. In Lou City is being decisive with their ability to win possession and win those moments and make first contact, and making first contact in a form and fashion that don't allow that midfield of Monterey Bay to get on the ball and face them while in possession. So you're just not getting that second wave, that second and third action from that longer ball. And so you're just not able to get Elijah Paul involved, Malongo involved, Revelar.
Serrano's ball in, Campuzano peeked over his shoulder and sees it touched out for another Lou City corner.
Because what you don't want to see for Monterey Bay is those players having to come deep to get on the ball. And we see it all the time. Attacking players need to get involved in getting touches. Then they drop too deep, and then now you have no outlet going forward. You do want to keep building off that structure.
Davila to deliver. They get at that near post. Might have come off an arm in there. Dia commits a foul. And that'll end the Louisville attack. Ooh, and the referee has brandished a yellow card as well. Amadou Dia is going to have his name taken here. He's booked and not exactly thrilled with the referee's decision.
Yeah, I think it's more of not the severity or the quantity of his fouls, but the situation that it was alluding to for Monterey Bay that found him picking up the yellow. So I know he's upset with only having the one foul and being booked, but so Nichols seeing it an opportunity for Monterey Bay to transition and counterattack.
Here is Paul. Tried to play it for Gadiri, and again, Louisville are all over it. And as the ball was played into the Monterey Bay half, another whistle another foul. I'm not sure what Louisville are upset about. They got the decision here, and they were not going to get any advantage from ball over the top. They get it back into play on this near side. It's a miscue idea, but it works out. Almost gets it back on the back heel. It goes through Adams. Monterey Bay are back on it. Fair. Playing it down this near side, but Malongo is covered.
And you're starting to see some of those first impressions that I mentioned earlier in the match come to fruition, because you have Malongo deep because he has to chase Kyle Adams. You have no outlet going forward when you do regain possession in a positive area. And that's something that is going to affect Monterey Bay going forward, because this is a team that is very progressive when they regain possession, a team that wants to go forward when they regain the ball, especially in dangerous areas and advantageous situations.
Dia from Serrano. Final seconds of normal time at the end of the half. Serrano is covered, but does win another Louisville corner.
Bagel corner, corner kick.
Louisville are already in double digits when it comes to corners in the half. And as Serrano takes it, the referee stops the play. We do have one additional minute to be tacked on at the end of the half. Elijah Paul being told by the referee what to do here and what not to do. Louisville would really stamp their authority on the half if they could get a second one here in first half stoppage time. Davila to the byline. Fizzes it across. Did pinball around briefly there. Monterey Bay again get it cleared. Serrano fights forward and shields it out for a Louisville throw. Final seconds of the half. Amadou Dia will likely throw this right into the mix, try to make one more chance up here. Very good long thrower of the ball. Near side of the six, Toch headed it on. A little bit of miscommunication from Monterey Bay, but they do just about deal with it. Cleared out for another throw-in on the near side. Alyssa Nichols does look at her watch. Wait to see how much more time there will be here. And the answer is not much. Halftime here in Seaside, really impressive at times from Louisville, but Nico Campuzano with an amazing performance in goal has kept Monterey Bay in it despite a Sean Toch opener for Lou City.
And Monterey Bay is going to want to make some adjustments on their first ball pressure, their ability to control and win territory so they can generate that clear threat. And for Lou City, you got to go score that second goal. You just have to look back to your recent match, what not finding that second goal does to you. So that's going to be some pressure from Lou City here in the second half.
Well, the plot thickens as we go into the second half here in Seaside. Louisville were, as advertised, really impressive for a vast majority of that first half. Sean Toch getting on the score sheet for the first time in the league this season. But Nico Campuzano with having a wonderful performance himself, keeping the Seasiders in it. Plenty to come at the half when we come back.
Hi Monterey Bay FC fans, my name is Jeremy Vanderkratz. I'm the owner of Signs by Van, a local sign company that's been in business since 1981. With over 25,000 signs built to date, we have the largest running staff in all of Monterey County. But don't take my word for it. Have a look around Cardinelli Stadium and you'll see our craftsmanship all around you. Find your way in, find a drink, find your food, find your seat, and find us at signsbyvan.com.
Hola.
¿Alguna otra cerveza?
No, Michelob Ultra.
Ok, ahora vuelvo.
Paying too much for your car insurance? Call Coast Auto Insurance to receive a free quote and see how much you could save. Coast works with over 50 different insurance companies to make sure you get the best rate for your car, motorcycle, home, or business. Coast is a local company with local people. We do vehicle registration, SR22, and insurance for Mexico. Call Coast Auto Insurance today for a free quote and see how much we can save you. Or go to coastautoinsurance.com, where your peace of mind is guaranteed.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the high five strangers got, game-winning interception, first down, just a nice solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Halftime in Seaside, California. Sean Toach opening his account for the 2025 USL Championship season has Louisville ahead here against Monterey Bay in Cali so far. Let's send it over to the best goal and save of the week, not just from the USL Championship, but from League One as well.
Is free, curls it into the area, on the back post, headed loose, oh, turned away by Garcia, did it cross the end line? Wow, Javier Garcia making a winning play. That's the scenario we're working with. Josh Drag joining the fold. Obregon trying from afar. This is audacious, and it's in! You have just witnessed one of the best goals you'll see all year in USL League One.
Way on in the 11, knocked over. Romario Williams chested down. Oh, what a stop by Jamali Wade.
Two successful seasons in Birmingham before coming to the Rowdies.
Hostad! Oh, it's a blast! 1-0, Rhode Island goes on top.
What goals and saves from the last week around the USL. Sean St. Jacques, Eric Dobransky here with you. Coach of the week was Cano Smith last week. Rhode Island coming off back-to-back road wins, although they lost earlier tonight to Pittsburgh. And then, well, so many teams represented. New Mexico's got 3 players in this past week's Team of the Week: Fernando, Maples, and Shakes.
Yeah, Mikey Maldonado from North Carolina FC, a big win against Oakland Roots last week. Cal Jennings just continues to scorch in the attacking third, picking up goal after goal. And then Andy Cabrera for El Paso, been terrific.
There was a time very early in the season where Ben Pierman was getting asked, oh, you're going to get Cal Jennings more and more involved. Yeah, I think that question's long since been answered.
Yeah, today they go down 1-0 to Detroit City, and then the drop of a hat, Cal Jennings has a brace, and Charleston Battery go on to win 3-1 and pick up 3 points and continue to set the pace in the East.
Another player, every stop he's been so impactful in the USL Championship. Well, we'll step aside for a moment. Halftime in Seaside, Lou City up by a goal to 0. We'll have news and notes, and we'll get you updated on the rest of the scores from around the championship when we come back.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way.
Focus!
Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power.
Whatever it takes.
Trusted for over 100 years. Tiger Balm's proven herbal blend tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger so that you can rise above pain.
Let's make a Karate Kid.
And get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
to the beach, and it was totally worth it. Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
How does Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water keep you in the game? We always source our water directly from the natural spring to fuel every body, no matter how you like to move it. So whether you're chasing your goals or just staying active this summer, make sure to stay hydrated with Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water. Always bottled at the natural spring source.
As Montage Health celebrates its 90th anniversary, we're taking a look at the past, recognizing how we started and where we are heading. Over the decades, we have grown from a hospital to an entire healthcare system. Today, Montage Health remains an independent, locally owned, nonprofit organization. We are proud to offer healthcare services for every chapter of life. At Montage Health, our history of excellence is rooted in a commitment to our community. That commitment lives on today and for the next 90 years and beyond.
Welcome back, everybody. Sean St. Jacques, Eric Dobransky, our entire crew. Happy to have you with us. It's halftime at Cardinale Stadium. Sean Toach has Louisville ahead against Monterey Bay with still a big 45 minutes to go in the second half. But first, we look around the league, news and notes from the USL Championship. Have to tip our cap to Bob Lilly and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. They were the highest second division side left in the Open Cup. They're just so tough to beat, even when MLS opposition are in front of them. Of course, Bob Lilly and the Hounds won earlier today at Rhode Island.
Yeah, when you...
Hi Monterey Bay FC fans, my name is Jeremy Vanderkratz. I'm the owner of Signs by Van, a local sign company that's been in business since 1981. With over 25,000 signs built to date, we have the largest running staff in all of Monterey County. But don't take my word for it. Have a look around Cardinale Stadium and you'll see our craftsmanship all around you. Find your way in, find a drink, find your food, find your seat, and find us at signsbyvan.com.
Sean and Eric back here with you in Seaside. Monterey Bay 0, Louisville City 1 at the half. About to get the second half started here at Cardinale Stadium in Seaside, California. But first, we recap the first half with the first half highlights. And, well, Coach, it was a lot of Louisville City traffic. But before all that happened, feels like a long time ago, Revelar nearly scored for Monterey Bay.
Yeah, it was a couple bright spots for Monterey Bay, their ability to access space at the byline, Malongo getting on the ball, Revelar taking that touch and putting it over the crossbar, but then besides that, it was few and far between for Monterey Bay, and they needed a lot of this in the first 45. Big saves from Nico Campuzano, keeping this game at 1-0, and it was really a casual concession of a corner kick for Monterey Bay that caused this situation, this near post delivery. and Campuzano just caught. It's tough to react like that when you have all that traffic and all that chaos to deal with. But the quality chances kept coming for Lou City, and the magnificent saves from Campuzano just continued to stack. He just continued to keep this game at 1-0. This one being more difficult than it looks, because when Taylor Davila has that kind of time and space, you've got to imagine that Campuzano is now thinking that he can access the far post, which now leaves the near post very difficult to cover, but he is still able to get down and make that difficult save and parry it out of pressure. As we see the numbers, obviously the possession for Monterey Bay in favor, but have not had a shot on target, and their inability to successfully break that first line and do it in a sustainable clip has really influenced their ability to get collective numbers in the attack.
Shots kind of tell part of the story, and like you said, shots on target, 6-0 in favor of Louisville, who also had 11 corners in the first half as well, to go along with all those final third entries.
Yeah, and that just speaks to the theme and the trend of Lou City's ability to not only regain possession in higher territory, but their ability to play fast when they regain that possession. And that goes back to that first ball pressure that I was talking about going into the break. But it is difficult when you are getting dispossessed 35, 40 yards away from goal, because that first ball pressure is a bit disorganized. You're unbalanced, you're unstable. The structure defensively is not there, as we see a change for Monterey Bay.
Yeah, it looks like Grant Robinson, who's been around these parts for quite some time with Monterey Bay, is going to come on at the start of the second half. Monterey Bay going from right to left, and the second 45 is underway. A BBSI substitution. Gadiri makes way, and the veteran Grant Robinson comes in, trying to help the Monterey Bay effort. Louisville played across the halfway line. Lissa Nichols, our referee, is going to bring that back. There she is. It's a free kick for Louisville. Ken Sean St. Jacques, Eric Dobransky, our entire crew, thrilled to have you with us. Getting towards the end of another jam-packed day of USL Championship action. And we'll see if Monterey Bay can muster up a comeback against the last remaining undefeated team in the USL Championship in Louisville City. Goal from Sean Toach that we just showed you a moment ago off a good feed from Taylor Davila is the difference, and the reason that Monterey Bay have stayed in the game is because of the man you just saw there. Nico Campuzano is now well over 40 saves this season, leading the USL Championship, and seemingly, Coach, each save better than the last.
Yeah, it's been unreal what Campuzano continues to do in this matchup, and if Monterey Bay are able to pull one back and level this scoreline, I mean, they're going to look back at those saves. Obviously, they're going to want to commit to protecting some of those quality looks that Lou City generated in the first 45, and obviously minimize some of that threat. But so much to say about that man's performance so far. He's going to need another big one. His team going to come back into this game and pull points, and to go and build back onto that point that you were making about the corners. Both these teams are in the 25 touches or final third entries for Monterey Bay, 29 for Lou City, but where the discrepancy comes in is touches in the opposition box, 22 for Lou City, 7 for Monterey Bay. So yes, they're getting into the final third, but past that, they are just unable to make that breakthrough. Monterey Bay are, and that is that transition moment for Lou City, that ability to identify and make the next play predictable. Once they are broken, that press is eluded, and that's where Lou City is winning the battle right now.
Well, still a long way to go in the second half, but if this result holds, Jordan Stewart's Monterey Bay have just one win in their last 9 in all competitions and winless in their last 6 overall. Louisville would potentially jump into second place, with Louisville, Loudoun, and Charleston all on the same number of games played. Battery would still be in first place by 2 points. Loudoun just behind them in third. And again, Monterey Bay, kind of mid part of that top 8 at the moment, have a chance to go down a few spots as this is a miscue, and Manny Perez fires it in to double Louisville's lead off another Monterey Bay miscue. We said it in the first half, you cannot give Louisville a sniff, and they take advantage of another Monterey Bay mistake. Manny Perez with his second league goal of the season gives Lou City a 2-0 lead.
And it's just that consistent complement of relentless play and opportunistic play. The ability to not give up on this ball played over the top, to force Guzman into a difficult decision, and then to have the class and composure to beat a goalkeeper like Campuzano, who we have highlighted with the saves he's made tonight. I mean, that is exactly what this Lou City side were looking to do in the second half, as they needed that second goal.
Danny Cruz called on everyone to bring more in this Monterey Bay game tonight after the disappointment laid on at Hartford. And we're nearly 50 minutes in. I'm not sure there's much Danny Cruz would change about the way his team has played so far. They've checked off pretty much every box. And Monterey Bay, who had a hill to climb at the start of the second half, are starting to see that hill turn into a mountain.
And after this, Monterey Bay stare at 2 consecutive matches in the Jägermeister Cup. One against Spokane and then the other against Orange County. Then get back to regular season play on June 7th as they host Lexington, who's going to be desperate to collect 3 points, as they drew again tonight against a struggling Tampa Bay Rowdies side.
BFC fans, make some noise!
Well, Jordan Stewart's side in desperate need of a reply here. It will be Garcia Jr. to take for the Seasiders. Any avenue Monterey Bay can take to get back into it here. But the service leaves quite a bit to be desired. It sails well out of play, and well, frustrations there for Monterey Bay. That's a big missed opportunity. Even a shake of the head, I should say, from Jordan Stewart. He would have wanted more out of that. Of course, the USL on CBS Sports Network continues May 28th. Big Western Conference double dip. San Antonio takes on Tulsa, 8 p.m. Eastern. And Antonio Nocerino's Las Vegas Lights welcome Pamadou Ka and his side Phoenix Rising, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Catch all the action on May 28th only on CBS Sports Network. Monterey Bay get the possession here, and then referee blows the whistle. Not entirely sure what that was about. Back in play we go. Guzman towards the penalty area. It falls kindly for Elijah Paul. Manny Perez steps in. Toch, though, didn't exactly clear that cleanly. But Damian Loss had his head on a swivel. He comes out and makes the catch.
And in no way do you ever want to script it where you go down 2-0. But at this point, for Monterey Bay, you might just throw caution to the wind and start throwing numbers and start throwing some of those opportunities going forward, playing balls, whether it's direct, vertical, whether it's those riskier passes through tighter channels. At this point, you do need to generate, to your point, a response after conceding an early goal in the second half.
Toch. Throw it back in for Louisville. Two goal scorers link up. Manny Perez to the byline here. And just by the corner flag, it does go out of play, and Louisville will get another set piece opportunity here. Davila to take for Lou City. Could land a knockout blow if they score another. Davila's service is good. Oh, and it's headed off the line. Again, Monterey Bay needs some heroic defending in front of goal just to hang around here. Las sends it back up towards the penalty area. It's headed down and out of play. It's a Louisville throw.
And Monterey Bay has produced some massive interventions that have kept this scoreline as is. Obviously, they already find themselves in a 2-0 deficit, but it could be worse if you don't have the big saves from Campuzano and then that clearance off the line.
A bit of an awkward moment there, but Campuzano gets back on it and sends it upfield for Monterey Bay. Robinson does well to shield and get the ball up ahead to Elijah Paul. It's played to this near side by L.A. Malongo. I'd love to get him more involved from Monterey Bay. He's so good at times on the ball. Since the opening 6 minutes, we've barely seen him. 11 in blue. Nico Gordon spreads it out to Moby Fair. Switch of play, but Manny Perez is there, and then it's off Serrano. Guzman quickly for Robinson. Fungak. Robinson again, Guzman involved as well. Lovely feed and a good turn by Fungak. Slides it through for Malongo! Las makes the stop! It's the best passage Monterey Bay have had in quite some time, and it ends with a floater out of play for a goal kick. That's the closest they've come since the opening 10 minutes.
Just breathtaking from both sides. I mean, what a clever play from Fonguk into Malongo. But the goalkeeping tonight, I mean, it is just top class. It is unreal to see, and it makes games so difficult to predict when you see something clicking offensively like this, but like that play, but it's just met by such a big save and set up by Damian Las, and that shot-stopping ability in full effect.
Malongo trying to dash away from Toch. Adams catches up to him. Well, we said Monterey Bay would love Malongo to get on it more. He has been more and more impactful as the seconds tick by. Trying to give Louisville some trouble here as Monterey Bay try in some way to change the momentum. Lambert wins it back for Louisville. Finds Perez on the near side, who's hounded by Robinson. Looked like it may have been last off of Monterey Bay. It's a Louisville throw. We'll watch the USL Championship in Spanish on 2DNA, nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Eastern Conference rivals Detroit and Charleston Battery battling it out. Of course, go to USLChampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Great to see more games as well on 2DNA. Another sign that the league is continuing to grow in multiple facets. Monterey Bay trying to grow more and more into this game as we approach the hour mark in Seaside. Malongo, he's gonna get there for Monterey Bay. Finds Elijah Paul and plays it just behind Rebelar. But then a Louisville miscue. Haven't seen many of those tonight. They give it back to Monterey Bay. Fair from Robinson. Robinson dashes towards the byline, and the cross goes well out of play.
Gold gem, go kick.
A couple updates from the games going on elsewhere. We told you Orange County has beaten the champions, Colorado Springs. Still 2-0 New Mexico at Oakland. And Las Vegas were up earlier. It's now 1-1. El Paso have equalized as they're getting towards the end of the first half in Vegas.
And surprise, surprise, Andy Cabrera with the equalizer.
Oh, what a season he's having.
Just breakout performance after breakout performance from Andy Cabrera. And what a start to the year for El Paso.
I think El Paso are the biggest surprise, at least in a positive way so far this season. They gotta be at least in the conversation.
Yeah, I would throw this Monterey Bay side in as well. They've collected some big results early on, obviously navigating a stretch right now that has not been conducive to picking up points, but still that start puts them in a position where they're still right in the thick of things in the West. But yeah, I mean, I think El Paso was a team that I think everybody looked at, was interested to see what kind of steps they took. You figured they were going to have some positive progression, but they have just been above and beyond what people imagined they could be here in the first third of the season.
Jansen Wilson had a chance to run onto that for Louisville. Monterey Bay clear it. And Malongo, well, he's clever initially, but runs out of space on this near side. Throw in for Lou City. And those are the two goal scorers. Toch and Manny Perez have Louisville ahead and on course for what would be a 6th league win of the season and would keep them unbeaten through the first 10 games of the campaign. And meanwhile, a chance for another. Manny Perez for Adrian Perez, who was so close to bending it into that bottom left-hand corner.
The relationship that these two have is so special. Their ability to recognize where and when each other want the ball, where they want the ball, just makes it so difficult to deal with both of them when they overload you in that wide area. And then they still have the options of Ray Serrano on that far side, Jansen Wilson centrally.
Louisville win it back through Davila, now Lambert. And it was just behind Jansen Wilson. Can Monterey Bay break up the other end here? Toch able to outmuscle Malongo. And then Perez will hold off Moby Fair. So a little push in the back there from Fangak. Referee lets it go. Rebelar finds Elijah Paul, who tries to spread it out to the far side. It's cut out by Dia. And Dia's off to the races across the halfway line. Referee says just a throw-in on the far side as Paul tried to catch up to him.
Had all the makings of something dangerous for Monterey Bay. Just Just that final action they've been missing throughout the night.
Adams. Played in field for Jansen Wilson. Davila. Such a clever touch to get around the initial challenge. And Davila keeps going. He tries to slither it through. Perez followed up. Guzman sends it out of play.
Ingenuity that Davila plays with. Just able to manipulate so much in a match.
Davila will take the corner as well. And it's played to that near post. Again, it's flicked on by Adams. Louisville again trying to follow up on the back end here. Monterey Bay are able to escape for now with possession. And then eventually Toch takes it off of Malongo, who tried everything he can to get through that purple wave. Another good cut in field here. Davila is there to help out. This is Kevin Lambert. Kyle Adams. And played all the way back for Ordonez. 25 minutes plus stoppage time left. Louisville lead by 2. Serrano. Adrian Perez lets it run. This is Manny Perez. Goal kick. And Monterey Bay will make a couple of changes here. Brought to you by BBSI. Paul out, Ivanovic in. Adam Larson in. Moby Fair out. Jordan Stewart now has just 2 changes remaining. Adam Larson has not scored yet this season. Luke Ivanovic has scored. He scored at Orange County earlier this season. Both hoping to come on and, again, try to just change the narrative for these final 25 minutes. Monterey Bay have had a couple of look-ins recently, but Damian Loss has come to the rescue, and Louisville have been able to hold them off.
It is, and attacking changes that, if the scoreline holds, I mean, 2-0 is 2-0. I mean, you need to do everything you can to pull one back, because that's the only way that it gives your team a chance to find the second. Is you need to generate enough creation. You need to generate enough questions to pull at least one back with enough time to put some pressure on Lou City. So right now, I know conceding a third goal would be extremely difficult for Monterey Bay, but you do have to open yourself up. You do have to make sure that you're risking a bit more, you're committing a bit more forward, and you complement it with those ideas, that ability to create something, whether it's on the ball, off the ball, the movement.
Another Monterey Bay throw. Nico Gordon. Jordan Stewart's been really impressed with so far this season. Coming over from MLS Next Pro champions, North Texas. And gliding past Davila here to move it forward. Rebelar helps it along as well, may have been taken out. Monterey Bay continue the move here with Malongo! Well, when he first hit it, it was traveling. But in the end, there was, I think, a little bit of a deflection that takes it wide, and Monterey Bay will get a corner.
Fans
And Malongo has been lively in this second half. His ability to build off some of that space right in front of the back line.
Well, Bagel corner kick. First time Monterey Bay have had a corner tonight. Can they make the most of it? It's crowded around Damian Loss inside the 6.
They need a quality delivery here, and then they need to win first contact.
Alyssa Nichols is trying to keep the peace inside the penalty area as the ball is delivered. Ooh, it was a decent climb to get to the header there. But in the end, it goes out of play. Louisville, it looks like, as we approach the final 20 minutes here, getting some changes ready. Aiden McFadden coming on for the goal scorer, Manny Perez. And Niall McCabe is going to come on for Kevin Lambert, who is sitting on that yellow card. And those are going to be the first 2 Lou City changes of the night. And of course, they're brought to you by BBSI. See Niall McCabe there as we tell you that Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship, from the Academy to the big leagues. Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select is the player's choice. Jansen Wilson wins a throw-in for Louisville on the near side. I was going to say, Niall McCabe comes on, the Irish international. He's been with Louisville for so long, since 2015 when the club started, and he's been in there for all of Louisville's big moments on both of those championship teams, 2017, 2018. Getting into his mid-30s now, but still a part of what Danny Cruz is doing with this Lou City squad. Toch was not able to get the cross in. Monterey Bay throw, just under 20 minutes of normal time to go. And that is sent out for a goal kick. Well, soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site. SeatGeek is your ticket to great seats. Toch battling with Ivanovic. He was able to get it away from him. Guzman to throw it back in. Davila cleverly finds Adrian Perez. Ooh, and Perez taken out by Rebelar. Alyssa Nichols saying that that is that before any potential cards come out, it looks like. She's saying no more. Next one's going to be a yellow. Adrian Perez still feeling the after effects a bit. Ordonez. Plays a reverse ball out to that far side. There's space for Louisville to operate here. And it's switched over to this near side for McFadden, who plays it across. The header flicked on. Monterey Bay just about clear it. Fangak trying to thread the needle. Miscue touch by Larson. Goes back to Louisville. Hands on heads on the Monterey Bay touchline.
And that's been a bit of the storyline for Monterey Bay, and some of the limited opportunities they have to go forward and create. They've just misfired. We saw one in the final third that Elijah Paul wasn't able to complete to that right side, and then right there, it looked like they could create an advantage in the counter and just unable to complete that pass.
And then a laser beam of a strike comes in. Davila, we know he can hit them. That one was off target. Can't watch the match, turn on Sirius XM FC 157. North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights with Mike Watson, Devin Kerr. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more. All on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. I was told that Devin Kerr was walking the cat this week. If you want to find out more about that, you're going to have to tune in to USL All Access. We'll leave it there. Free kick here for Monterey Bay. We're getting down to the final 15 minutes. Louisville have managed the second half very well here. Monterey Bay, though, still have a chance to mount a comeback. Garcia will leave it for Adrian Rebelar. Loss gets everyone in the proper place. Rebelar clips it to the far side. It's headed centrally. Headed clear by McFadden, only as far as Garcia Jr. We'll do a full reset to the halfway line. Gordon for Robinson. Robinson in field, Rebelar. Guzman keeping it in play. And then it's last off McFadden. Throwing for the Seasiders, they take it quickly. Rebelar trying to get past multiple Lou City challenges here. Rebelar still going into the penalty area. Toach stands him up. Robinson wins it back for Rebelar. Rebelar's cross is blocked on the edge of the 6-yard box. Cleared away only as far as Funguk. Reset by Gordon. Guzman down the line. Robinson gets the cross in. It's headed down by Ivanovic. After the overhead kick was missed, and Damian Loss makes a comfortable save.
And that's that challenge and the task that Lou City is faced with, is that balance of seeing out a match at a 2-0 advantage, but also not getting too casual with retreating early, with inviting the opponent in, because you want to keep the clean sheet, you want to have that comprehensive performance overall, but you also do need to sprinkle in hints of danger going forward. So how do you kind of keep that balance of what your identity is and staying true to who you are, but also understanding that you want to get 11 players behind the ball. You want to make it difficult for an opponent, and you want to see out the match. It's going to be that mix that they're going to find here in the last 15 minutes.
Malongo, the player down here for the Seasiders, holding his left leg. And, well, as good as Louisville have been, 2-0 up, it could have been a lot worse. That's because Nico Campuzano at times has been standing on his head for Monterey Bay. And really, both goalkeepers have made excellent saves throughout.
Yeah, just exceptional. I think the scoreline sits at 2-0, but it has not been from a lack of effort to keep this game where it is from Nico Campuzano. I guarantee one of those slew of saves we just showcased are going to be up for Save of the Week.
Yeah, take your pick.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think we all were in awe of the first one, and then he just continued to stack more difficult ones throughout this match as we see Malongo coming off and Ethan Bryant making his entry.
Another BBSI change. It's tough to see Malongo's night end prematurely. He was just kind of getting going for Monterey Bay and forced a great save out of Damian Loss. But Ethan Bryant is also a very good player and could certainly come on and make a difference here for Jordan Stewart down the stretch. The only tough part, of course, is that Monterey Bay are running a little bit low on time here. 12 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Ivanovic dispossessed, but there is Bryant stepping back in to win it for Monterey Bay. And it's last off Louisville.
Yeah, and for Monterey Bay, it's going to be playing off of that human element, that element for Lou City's side where there is no need for a third goal. You almost have that thought that, okay, we don't need to necessarily send the numbers, but those are the numbers that make you so dangerous.
Loss will get there in the end. Ivanovic not able to find Grant Robinson.
Because right now you just need one quality look to change the narrative, flip the script, capture that momentum that puts the pressure on Lou City. But as you just alluded to, you are seeing some precious time come off the clock.
Oh, Robinson dilly-dallied on it. Goes back to Louisville. Toach from the throw-in. Tried to find McCabe. McFadden. Perez tried to help it along. Davila. Plays it out to the far side. Serrano into the middle. Campuzano makes the stop as Perez headed it right down the heart of the goal.
And that's a prime example of staying true to who you are and not allowing the situation and the scoreline to manipulate the way that you play. They are still generating opportunities. They are still committing to creating quality looks and presenting that threat that Monterey Bay cannot escape.
Bryant holds off Davila, moves him out of the way to get possession here. Bent into the middle for Ivanovic. Who did not get enough on it to really trouble Damian Loss.
And looking back for Jordan Stewart and Monterey Bay, you're going to continue to evaluate performance. You're going to continue to stack those performances and evolve throughout the season. And that's what this team continues to do. But you are going to look at the most recent results and see 2 games that you allowed late goals, and instead of picking up 3 points, you picked up 1. And those are going to be the themes and the trends that you're going to want to evolve from. I mean, they did a terrific job against Miami FC here at home. Carried that 1-0 advantage until the 87th minute, conceded late, and then the same thing against Rhode Island. Had a 1-0 advantage, scored the early first half goal, and then a goal in the 77th. Saw them not pick up all 3 points, and now 2 matches, you could have had 6 points, and you walk away with 2. In a tight Western Conference, that really comes to define where you can kind of find yourself.
Aiden McFadden got a yellow card, meanwhile, for Louisville. And in the live table, Monterey Bay would stay in 5th, but they would open up the opportunity for teams beneath them who have multiple games in hand to potentially usurp them. As a matter of fact, 6th, 7th, and 8th, Sac Republic, Orange County, and Las Vegas all have 2 or 3 games in hand on Monterey Bay and are all within 3 points. And by the way, so are Phoenix, who are just outside the playoffs at the moment. So it could be a damaging loss tonight if, of course, those games in hand are taken advantage of. It's just easier said than done in such a tough league, and particularly the Western Conference, to navigate at this point of the season. So many twists and turns still to come.
And we talked about it briefly at halftime, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds using that Open Cup run kind of to propel their momentum, build off, and stack performances themselves into the regular season. Big win today over Rhode Island. I know for Monterey Bay, they now have to shift the focus because they have 2 straight matches in the Jägermeister Cup, so it takes away their thoughts to the regular season. But can you build off of those performances and now have that enhance where you go start June when you bring Lexington into town, a team that you have drawn with 0-0 earlier in the season?
Well, one note on Monterey Bay as well, they're potentially staring a 4th game in the last 6 where they haven't scored a goal, as another yellow card has come out there. Might have gone to Rebelar there for Monterey Bay. The early weeks of the season, we talked about this earlier, Coach, how good Monterey Bay were. They looked like night and day, really, to how they ended last season. And now they're reaching their first hiccup in the road. How does Jordan Stewart and this team handle it? That's going to be a big question with a tough schedule coming up. And again, multiple fronts, Jaeger Cup and the league that they're trying to manage at the moment. And that continues next week with Jaeger Cup action.
And I think that's where you could use those matches to continue to enhance your identity, because these are 2 clubs, 2 coaches that firmly believe in their identity as a whole and how that influences results. So don't think for a moment that Monterey Bay is going to change. They're going to make adjustments. They're going to fine-tune some of the details, but they were multi-dimensional, dynamic, and explosive to start the season. They just need to find that footing again.
Chance for Louisville to steal the points. Campuzano saves again and was ready for the follow-up as well. Lara takes it away from Serrano, who nearly put a cherry on top of proceedings. And Serrano is still down after the play.
Just don't know many other superlatives to describe what Campuzano continues to do, because we show the saves, but all of them have been different. They've asked different questions. Some have been with services, those early services, balls over the top, time, the Taylor Davila save, where your opponent has time to pick out a corner and still being able to cover that ground. You gotta hope for Lou City that Ray Serrano's okay. Looks a bit hobbled after that chance.
And remember, Philip Goodrum was a late scratch as well, so Danny Cruz doesn't have a ton to turn to in the attack at the moment off the bench. If that has to be a change that's made, I will be curious to see what Danny Cruz decides to do. You got the Academy player Isaac Cano on the bench. You do have Evan Davila, who could maybe slide in there, and Mogul Jr. and Josh Jones, but Josh Jones is more of a defensive player on Danny Cruz's bench tonight.
And it does look like Ray Serrano is trying to get some movement there.
Dia to the byline. Davila. Serrano gets it back from Dia. 3.5 minutes plus stoppage time left.
And Lou City also have a Jaeger Cup match coming up, but Monterey Bay, the only team that has 2 consecutive. Everybody else has played in their initial group play.
Adrian Perez thought about lining up the shot. Jansen Wilson certainly thought he was going to let fly. We gave Nico Campuzano his flowers. Remember, Damian Loss was not supposed to play tonight. Danny Fondes was originally going to start in his first game in over a year for Louisville and got injured in the warm-up, we were told. So that's why Damian Loss, who again hasn't missed a minute yet this season, was then told to come on. He's been absolutely as advertised, and Louisville are going to make the changes here. Serrano is going to exit, and we talked about it. Evan Davila is going to take his place. Amadou Dia, who is sitting on a booking, is also going to exit. And the Academy product, Isaac Cano, is going to take his place. Both are BBSI substitutions, and that leaves Louisville with 1 left. And this is going to be a tough sight for some Lou City fans to see. A hobbled Serrano exiting the field. Hopefully, of course, not too serious. But we'll have to wait and see on that. Hopefully nothing too concerning moving forward, as both Davilas are out there now.
Yeah, it's so much of the season where you play a game and really your turnaround time is recovery and getting back to that level to play another match. I mean, so much of the preparation is that ability for players to stay healthy. Obviously, you see a player like Ray Serrano come up hobbled, you know that he's going to be spending the week trying to get back for that matchup at Loudoun. How do you manage the load of these players as you hit the mid-season?
Entering the match, number 15, Miles Lyons.
Last BBSI change from Monterey Bay. Funguk is out. Miles Lyons, who was a question mark coming into the night, but he is back. That's a good sign for Monterey Bay. We're still trying to get some healthy bodies back into the fold. Lyons immediately comes in and takes the throw-in as we're well into the 90th minute here in Seaside. Goals from Toch and Manny Perez have Louisville in line for 3 points.
And we see it year after year, the influence, the unfortunate influence that we see on teams with having to deal with injuries. It's just almost become a byproduct of each team's seasons. How do you pick up points? How do you get results when you have players missing and you have to showcase that depth? You have to feature players, that adaptability, that resilience, and you know, you could look at portions of the seasons
has indicated a minimum of
for all teams and see spells of times where they've had to get results with different lineups, different formations, different personnel.
We're into 4 added minutes at the end of the 90. And by the way, Coach, you mentioned it. Jaeger Cup next week. Loudoun Louisville might be the game of the round. That's going to be an epic contest at Segra Field in Leesburg, Virginia.
Yeah, it's two teams that have become very familiar with each other early on in the season and find themselves with the Charleston Battery, of course, being the pace setters in the East.
Kyle Adams will throw this back in for Louisville. And Louisville will get another throw. They can use up a few more seconds here. As Louisville are closing in on a 6th win, they'll be 10 unbeaten to start the league season. If they had gotten a little bit of late magic against Minnesota United in the Open Cup, they might be unbeaten in all comps to this point. Not to be in the end. The MLS side knocked them out, of course. Louisville marauding forward here. Taylor Davila keeps this alive. And Louisville again will go to the corner with McCabe. Another Lou City throw-in. Does look like Louisville are getting a change ready. They do have 1 left. We'll get to that in a moment. Monterey Bay still have a couple minutes left. Robinson just kind of hit it into the ground. And Robinson tried to follow back up. Louisville back on it here. Perez for McFadden. And McFadden dispossessed. 2 minutes to go. Robinson let it run. Toch is there. Cano giving chase. Guzman shepherds it out. And the goal kick will be halted here as Carlos Mogul Jr. will come on, and he will replace Jansen Wilson. That is it for BBSI substitutions tonight. And Jansen Wilson certainly had a lot of positive moments, particularly in the first half of this game tonight. His race is run in second half stoppage time.
And although he's not on the score sheet, I think the work of occupying the center backs, Nico Gordon, Guzman, Lara doing a variety of different things off the ball is where his influence was felt.
Guzman's throw. Toch and then McFadden combined to clear it. Gordon does well to pluck it out of the sky. And then Lara will send it into the seats with about 30 seconds to go. And again, if this result holds as well, Louisville will continue to be unbeaten against Monterey Bay in Seaside as well. The only Monterey Bay win in the series came 3 years ago at Louisville. And by the way, Moby Fair scored in that game as well. So did Sam Gleedle, who of course is currently a Lou City player. He's actually scored for Monterey Bay against Louisville and for Louisville against Monterey Bay, although he was not available tonight. Perez commits the foul, and that is it, full time in Seaside. Danny Cruz asked for more from his Lou City players. Boy, did he ever get it tonight. Really impressive from Louisville. And they win it over Monterey Bay by 2-0 as they put more pressure on Charleston at the top of the Eastern Conference in the USL Championship. Toch and Manny Perez on the score sheet. And Lou City respond as only they can with a dominating performance against the Seasiders tonight.
Yeah, delivered with complete performance in both boxes, scoring a goal in each of these halves, only giving up that one loud opportunity to Malongo that Damian lost, made that strong hand save, but limited the opportunities, never allowed Monterey Bay to capture momentum and play on the front foot, that unrelenting pressure, causing mistakes and then punishing Monterey Bay for those mistakes. Have to be pleased with the way they came out and responded after conceding late, that late equalizer against Hartford and picking up a point.
So just what the doctor ordered for Louisville after stumbling at Hartford. They bounced back in Seaside, and they were fantastic from start to finish. Toch and Perez leading the way. And the goalkeepers, by the way, for both sides were exquisite throughout the night. Lou City win it by 2-0. We'll be back after the break to wrap it up. Sean St. Jacques, Eric Dobransky here with you full time in Seaside. Louisville with a bounce back win over Monterey Bay by 2-0. Danny Cruz's side, very, very impressive. And they leave Cali with all 3 points tonight in the USL Championship. And coach, we look back at the full.
If you want to go there for Lou City, is the shots on target and only the 2 goals. Yeah. Maybe the efficiency is something that they want to see an uptick in. But other than that, just comprehensive in both boxes. I thought the pressure really frustrated and flustered the ability for Monterey Bay to get into any sort of rhythm. Good bounce back for Danny Cruz and his side.
It really was, and it's back to the drawing board for Monterey Bay. Now 6 games without a win, and only 1 win in their last 9 in all competitions. But it was vintage Louisville in Seaside tonight. Toch and Manny Perez leading the way. Lou City leave with all 3 points. For Eric Dobransky and our entire crew, Charles St. Jacques saying so long from Seaside. Louisville bounced back in a big way, and they win it by 2-0.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.